Welcome to the deep dive, where, well, we kind of do just that, dive deep. You know, we take all this information that's out there, so much of it these days, and we try to pull out what really matters. And today, we're doing that with AI. Artificial intelligence, early April 2025, things are moving fast. So we've got articles, news, summaries, all sorts of stuff. And the goal, simple. We want you to come away understanding, really understanding what's happening in AI right now, the big advancements, the big conversations, all without, getting lost in the technical weeds.
Exactly. It's about extracting that signal from the noise so you get the big picture, but also some of the fascinating specific details that are driving AI forward.
Right, like one thing that jumps out right away, money. Big money flowing into AI. I mean, back in 2024, some huge funding rounds. Anthropic, $450 million. Mistral AI, they got $415 million. Hugging Face, $235 million. And it's not just about, the generative AI, the stuff everyone's talking about. It's clear investors see potential across the board. Cybersecurity, automation, you name it. It makes you wonder, what are they seeing? Beyond the hype, I mean.
Yeah, that's the key question. Generative AI has definitely captured the public imagination. But these investments suggest a broader understanding of AI, like a fundamental technology, one that can impact all kinds of industries. Take cybersecurity. Investors probably see AI as a way to tackle these really hard, persistent problems and offer a big potential return, of course. Same with automation, increasing efficiency, boosting productivity, real-world impact. So yeah, the headlines might be about making images or writing text, but the smart money, they're looking at the practical stuff too.
Totally. And it's not just the big names, right? Like ODSC East, their startup showcases coming up. They're saying it's really important for AI startups, the newer companies, to connect with investors, get their ideas in front of people. Sounds like these events can be a real launch pad. Why are they so important for the whole AI world?
Think of them as hubs. For startups, it's a chance to meet everyone at once. Investors, partners, even early customers. People who get the technology and are looking for the next big thing. You're not just pitching an idea, you're showing what it can do. Prototypes, demos, getting real-time feedback. And for investors, it's a super efficient way to see what's out there. New technologies, emerging trends. You can spot those promising ventures early on. So yeah, these events really fuel the whole AI ecosystem, ideas and funding all flowing together.
Makes sense. But here's something interesting. All this excitement around companies like OpenAI, but reports are saying there's been a bit of a slowdown in AI investment overall, first quarter of 2025. So is the market cooling off a little after all the initial buzz?
Yeah, it's an interesting observation. Long-term, AI investment is probably still going strong. But, a little pullback, it could be a natural adjustment. We had this crazy period of rapid growth, valuations skyrocketing. Maybe investors are getting a bit more cautious now, want to see more evidence, revenue, solid business models, especially in areas where there's a lot of competition.
Right, makes sense. Okay, let's switch gears a bit. How is AI changing things for actual software developers? There's this shift towards what they're calling agentic AI, autonomous agents. It's about moving beyond just writing code line by line. So what does that actually mean for how software is being made?
Okay, imagine this. Traditional software, it's all about following instructions, A to B to C. But with agentic AI, you're creating systems that can sense what's around them, figure out what they need to do, and then do it, all on their own. So instead of a developer writing code for every single step, they set a goal, a high-level objective. And the AI agent figures out the how, the steps to get there. And these autonomous agents, they take it even further. They learn and adapt. They change their behavior over time without constant human inputs. Huge shift, right? It could lead to software that's way more dynamic, more responsive, more like, well, us.
And it's not just about text anymore either, right? Like multimodal AI. It's about systems that can handle all sorts of data, images, text, voice, even structured data, all at once. How does that expand the possibilities of what AI can actually do?
Imagine, how we understand the world. It's not just words on a page or just what we see. It's everything together, all our senses. Multimodal AI, it lets systems understand the world more like we do. So if an AI can process what you're saying, analyze a picture you send, and then also check a database all at the same time, it gets a much clearer picture of the context, your intent. It leads to interactions that are richer, more intuitive. Imagine a customer service AI. You explain a problem, send a picture of a damaged product, and boom, it pulls up your order details and solves the issue smoothly.
That's wild. But here's the thing. Despite all this change, developers, they seem really positive about AI. Most see it as a good thing for their careers, even though some feel like their companies are lagging behind, not adopting it fast enough. Why the disconnect? Individual enthusiasm, but maybe slower adoption at the company level?
I think developers get it. They see how AI tools can help them. Automating the boring stuff, writing better code faster, even opening up new opportunities to work on more interesting projects. They see it as like a superpower. But for companies,
Yeah.
it's more complex. You need investment, new infrastructure, training, and integrating AI into existing workflows that takes time. And there's probably some hesitation too. Reliability, security, all that. Maybe even a lack of clear vision, how AI fits into the big picture strategy.
So for engineers who want to stay ahead of the curve in 2025, what are the must-have AI skills? Python, SQL, those are still key. Getting comfortable with those AI code assist tools, that seems essential. But what else?
You nailed the basics. But to really understand AI models, how they work, how to interpret their results, you need a good grasp of statistics and probability. It's foundational. Then, analytical thinking, problem solving. That's how you apply AI to real-world challenges. And this might surprise you, but communication skills, they're becoming super important. Developers need to explain this complex stuff to non-technical people. And last but not least, data wrangling. It's often overlooked, but essential. Cleaning data, preparing it, transforming it. If the data is bad, the AI won't be good.
Garbage in, garbage out,
Right,
right?
yeah.
And what about specific roles, the tools that are in demand? It seems like data scientists, machine learning engineers, and this new LLM engineer role, those are hot. Knowing frameworks like PyTorch and TensorFlow, deployment tools like Docker and Kubernetes, and prompt engineering tools like LangChain and OpenAI APIs, those are key, right?
Yeah.
What makes this LLM engineer role so unique?
It's a hybrid role, really interesting. You need the classic software engineering skills, but also a deep understanding of how large language models, LLMs, work and how to talk to them, how to guide them using prompts. It's not just coding with AI, it's coding for AI. So you're crafting very specific instructions, prompts, to get the LLM to do what you want. There are all these techniques. Chain of thought prompting, where you guide the model through reasoning steps, few-shot learning, giving it examples in the prompt, frameworks like React, where the model can reason and then take action. That's the LLM engineer's world, bridging the gap between the raw power of these models and their real-world use.
And that brings us back to ODSCE's, the Startup Showcase. The session topics they've announced, they give you a real sense of what's hot in AI right now, like building these multimodal AI agents. That connects directly to what we were just talking about. There's a session specifically on that. Building multimodal AI agents, they're using something called agentic ARG with image, text, and audio. Why is that combination so significant?
It's a powerful trend. Agentic AI, remember, it's all about systems that can act on their own. Then you've got RAG, retrieval augmented generation. You enhance an LLM by letting it pull information from external sources, like a database or a document. It's like giving it access to a library while it's working. Now, add multimodality on top of that. Your AI agent can access and process all sorts of data, text, images, audio. It understands the information in all these forms and then makes decisions, takes actions based on that complete understanding. And the fact that AWS is presenting on this definitely shows how important it is for building those next level AI applications.
It seems like this RGA thing, retrieval augmented generation, is really taking off. There are a bunch of sessions on it, like how to make RGA systems adapt better using knowledge graphs,
Yeah.
how to evaluate RAG for real-world use, even sessions on making RAG even better with something called entity-resolved knowledge graphs,
Yes.
and using graph RAG for multimodal systems. So why all the focus on RAG right now?
It comes down to a key challenge with large language models, LLMs. You want their responses to be fluent? Sure, but also accurate, grounded in real knowledge. Now, LLMs, they're trained on tons of data, but that knowledge can be general, maybe even outdated. RG solves this. It lets the LLM grab up-to-date, specific information from an outside source, like while it's generating its response. It's like letting the AI look up facts before it answers. The ODSC East sessions, they probably reflect how the AI community is trying to make Raji even better, more effective, using knowledge graphs to give the AI a structured understanding of information, making RAG adapt to different situations, and figuring out how to really measure its performance in real-world scenarios.
There's also a session on, get this, demystifying reasoning models,
Yes.
like DeepSeek and OpenAI's O series. It seems like developers need to understand what makes each of these models different,
Right.
when to use which one for a particular job.
Absolutely. Just like you wouldn't use a hammer for every DIY project, you wouldn't use the same LLM for every AI task. DeepSeek, OpenAI's latest models, they each have strengths. Some are better at logic, some at creative generation, some at handling lots of text at once. Understanding those nuances, that's how developers can choose the right tool for the job and build AI applications that are more effective, more efficient. That's probably what that session will be all about, giving developers that practical knowledge.
Yeah, makes sense. And speaking of efficiency, There's a session focused on optimizing LLM inference speed, basically making these powerful models run faster in real-world apps.
Right.
Because speed matters, right? Especially for a good user experience. So what are they doing to speed things up?
Right. If your AI is slow, people are going to get frustrated. So there are techniques like quantization. It reduces the precision of the numbers used in the model, makes the calculations faster. And speculative decoding, where the model tries to predict what comes next and then checks it in parallel. It's all about cutting down the computational cost, the lag time, without sacrificing too much accuracy.
And it's not just about building them, it's about making sure they work well. There's a session on benchmarking LLM judges using human grading patterns. I'm guessing that's about making sure that how we automatically evaluate AI quality actually matches how humans perceive it. Why is that alignment so important?
At the end of the day, AI systems are for us. We interact with them. So how we measure their performance, it should reflect human values, human judgment. If we benchmark our automated evaluations against how actual humans rate things, we can make sure we're building AI that's not just technically good, but actually useful, helpful, especially for things like generating text that sounds natural or having a conversation that feels real.
Right, and we're also seeing sessions on hybrid text classification, combining LLMs with more traditional neural networks, and an introduction to LLM post-training. So there's a lot of interest in fine-tuning these models for specific uses. What's the advantage of that?
Hybrid approaches, mixing LLMs with those more focused neural networks, it's about finding a balance. You get the broad understanding of the LLMs, but also the efficiency of those smaller, more specialized models. And post-training, that's like fine-tuning. You take a pre-trained LLM, one that's already learned a lot, and then you train it further on a specific data set or for a very specific task. It makes it way better at that specific thing. Customization is key to making LLMs really work in the real world.
Makes sense. Okay, let's talk AI agents again. The buzz is real. Multiple sessions on building autonomous multi-agent systems using frameworks like Crew AI and LangChain. There's one on cooperative multi-agent reinforcement learning. And deep dives into tools like AG2, which used to be called AutoGen, and Agent OS. This whole area feels like it's about to explode.
Yeah.
What's so exciting about these multi-agent systems?
Imagine you have a really complex problem. You can break it down into smaller tasks. Then you have multiple AI agents working together, each handling a specific part, like a team of AI specialists. And frameworks like Crew AI, AG2, they give you the tools to manage all that, coordinate the agents, make sure they communicate properly, they can achieve things that a single AI could never do on its own, and cooperative multi-agent reinforcement learning. That's about how these agents can learn to work together even better through trial and error. It's really fascinating stuff.
And of course, there are sessions on making sure these agents are trustworthy, building trustworthy agentic AI, focusing on governance models, even exploring these AI software engineering agents and their potential impact. So as AI gets more autonomous, making sure it's reliable and aligns with our values, that becomes even more important.
Absolutely. We're giving these AI agents more power, more responsibility. We need to be sure they're safe, they're ethical. It's not just about technical safeguards. It's about having clear rules, governance frameworks, defining how these agents should operate, how they make decisions. And those AI software engineering agents, they could be huge. Imagine AI helping us build even more AI. But there are risks too. We need to think carefully about the implications.
Okay, let's talk about AI safety more broadly. There's this new report from Che AI. They're focusing on making AI more capable, but also reliable for safe use. That sounds like a pretty important piece of work. What are the big challenges in making sure AI is safe as it gets more advanced?
AI safety is a huge challenge, and it's getting bigger as AI gets more powerful. We need to research ways to make AI more robust so it can handle unexpected inputs, prevent those unintended consequences, and ensure that its goals align with ours, human values. That Che AI report, it's probably diving into the latest thinking on all this, how to build AI that we can trust, to operate safely, reliably in all sorts of situations.
And there's this guy, Rafael Sandroni from the Envelopes podcast. He's talking about the challenges of securing AI systems, dealing with fraud. He specifically mentions things like prompt injection attacks and using AI to fight increasingly sophisticated fraud. Sounds like these are real, practical vulnerabilities that we need to be dealing with right now.
Yeah, these are real threats. Prompt injection, it's where someone tries to trick a language model into doing something bad by crafting a very specific prompt. It exploits a weakness in how these systems work. And then you've got the bad guys using AI themselves to create new, more sophisticated types of fraud. That means we need AI-powered defenses to catch them. It's a constant race.
He even brings up zero trust for LLMs. and something called indirect prompt injection. It sounds like securing these advanced AI models, it requires a whole new way of thinking. You have to assume there could be vulnerabilities everywhere.
Zero trust, it's this idea that you shouldn't trust anything by default. You have to verify everything, every user, every device. And now we're applying that to LLMs too. Every input, every interaction has to be checked. And indirect prompt injection, that's even trickier. It's where harmful instructions are hidden in data the LLM might access. Seems innocent, but it's not. So you need a security strategy that looks at everything, not just direct interactions, but the whole environment the model operates in.
On a slightly more positive note, there are new tools being developed. Moderation systems, like Salesforce AI's Bingo Guard. It's designed to spot harmful content and even assess how bad it is. It's good to see people working on the downsides of AI-generated stuff, right? Trying to manage the risks. So how do these systems actually work?
Think of it like this. They analyze the language used. They look for specific keywords, patterns, things associated with harmful content. They might even use AI models that are trained to recognize different types of harmful output. And they don't just say yes or no, they give a severity score. That way, platforms can prioritize, deal with the worst stuff first, and they can apply different moderation policies depending on how bad the content is.
Of course, we have to talk about the darker side, too. AI-generated deepfakes, non-consensual pornography. There have even been legal actions taken because of this. And we've got examples of AI being used to make fake audio, like that deepfake of Trump. It raises some serious questions, right? About accountability, about the potential for harm.
Deepfakes, AI-generated content that's used to exploit or harm people, it's a real problem. And those legal actions, they show that people are starting to recognize the damage this technology can do. We need clear laws, clear penalties, and that Trump audio. It shows how AI can be used for misinformation, political manipulation. We urgently need ways to counter that. And we need to educate people about how to spot these fakes.
Definitely. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk about creative industries. There's this big protest by authors. They're against Meta. They claim Meta used copyrighted books to train their AI models, books taken from sites like LibGen. This whole issue of fair use when it comes to AI and copyrighted material, that's a real sticking point. What are the main arguments on both sides?
It's a tough one. Authors, publishers, they're saying using their work to train AI without permission is wrong. It's copyright infringement. It devalues their work. And they worry that AI will start generating stuff that competes with their originals. But the other side, they say it's fair use, like summarizing a text for a school report or quoting a passage. It's transformative, they argue, and necessary for developing useful AI. They might say that AI models learn patterns, styles, not exact copies. So who's right? The courts will probably have to figure that out.
It's a big debate. And meanwhile, AI is being adopted for creative work at an incredible pace. OpenAI's ChatGPT, they added that new image generation feature, and boom, over 700 million images generated in the first week. That's crazy. What does that tell us about how creative tools are changing?
That number, it's mind-blowing. It tells you people are excited about AI-powered creativity, all skill levels, from beginners to pros. They want to use AI to bring their visual ideas to life, and it's happening fast. This could be a huge shift in how creative content is made. Individuals, small businesses, they suddenly have access to tools that used to be only for professionals.
There's this other interesting idea floating around. AI is grown, not designed. And there's this debate about creative theft in AI. That Stealing Ghibli article really highlights it. It seems people are asking fundamental questions. Is AI really creative? Or is it just mimicking?
It gets to the heart of what AI is, right? Grown, not designed, it emphasizes that these large AI models, they develop abilities that weren't explicitly programmed. They emerge from being trained on so much data. And that leads to this question of creative theft. If an AI generates something that looks just like a human artist's style, is that stealing? Or is it a new form of creative expression? Some say AI is just learning, remixing. Others say it undermines human artists. It's a philosophical debate as much as anything. And it's going to keep going as AI gets even more powerful.
No doubt. Okay, let's talk about the hardware side of things. NVIDIA, they seem to be dominating those generative AI benchmarks, outperforming everyone in the MLPer v5.0 results. Especially for LLMs and agentic AI. There are even benchmarks now for those super large models, Llama 270B Interactive and that massive Llama 3.1 405B. And it seems like everyone's moving towards using lower precision computation, like FP4. So why is NVIDIA still on top? And what's the significance of this shift toward lower precision?
NVIDIA, they're still the powerhouse. They provide the raw computing power that these demanding AI tasks need. And those benchmarks focusing on LLMs and agentic AI, that just reflects where the field is going. And lower precision computation, like FP4, that's all about efficiency. You use less precise numbers in your calculations, so you need less computing power, things run faster. You might lose a tiny bit of accuracy, but the gains in speed and efficiency are huge. It's how we can actually deploy these massive models for real-world use.
There's also mentioned that Intel, they're struggling a bit in the AI accelerator market. Their Gaudi 3 chip isn't doing so well. Sounds like they're playing catch-up. What's so hard about building these AI accelerator chips?
Building competitive AI hardware, it's not easy. You need cutting-edge chip design, sure, but you also need a whole software ecosystem around it so developers can actually use those chips effectively. Intel, they're up against companies like NVIDIA. NVIDIA has a huge head start. Their software is really mature. So yeah, Intel has some catching up to do. It takes massive investment, innovation, and time. This market moves fast.
It's interesting. Even Wikipedia is feeling the impact of all this AI. They're reporting a 50% jump in bandwidth usage. They say it's AI bots crawling their site, sucking up data. It just shows you how much data these AI systems are consuming. What does that mean for, like, online content providers?
It means they have to deal with a lot more traffic, and traffic costs money. It raises questions about fairness, too. Are the AI developers who are using this data giving anything back, or are they just taking?
Listen,
It's a big issue.
definitely. And there's the whole energy consumption thing. People are trying to make AI more efficient, even comparing it to the human brain, how little energy it uses. And companies like VidTalk are introducing new ways to process video for AI more efficiently. Energy use is a big concern as AI models get more powerful. So what are the most promising ways to make AI less energy hungry?
It's a huge concern, right? Environmentally and economically. We need to develop more efficient hardware, that's for sure. And we need to optimize how we design and train these models, more efficient algorithms. And those compact tokenization methods, like VidTalk is using, that's interesting. It reduces the amount of data that needs to be processed. And yeah, the human brain, it's incredibly efficient. It's like the ultimate benchmark. If we can get AI even close to that level of efficiency, that would be a huge win.
Let's talk more about AI agents. There seems to be a clear distinction now between, like, basic AI agents,
Mhm.
the ones that follow simple rules, and those more advanced agentic systems, the ones that can
Yeah.
adapt, make their own decisions. That assistant versus manager analogy is really helpful. Can you give some concrete examples of both types? In action, I mean.
Sure. Think of a chatbot on a website. It answers basic questions. It follows preset rules based on what you ask. That's more like an assistant. Now imagine an AI system in a factory. It monitors the production line, figures out where the bottlenecks are, and adjusts the machines to optimize output. All on its own, no human intervention. That's more like an agentic system. It's making decisions based on its understanding of the situation. Like a manager.
And we're starting to see these advanced agents out in the real world. Microsoft, they just launched new AI agents specifically for factories at Hannover Messe 2025. So it seems like they're trying to make this sophisticated AI more accessible for industrial use. How could these agents change manufacturing?
It's a big step towards making factories smarter, more adaptable. Imagine these AI agents monitoring equipment, predicting when maintenance is needed, optimizing workflows in real time. They could even assist human workers with complex tasks. By automating these decisions, these problem-solving tasks at the operational level, you could see huge improvements: efficiency, productivity, even safety.
And Amazon, they're not sitting still. They've got Amazon Nova Act. It's designed to automate web-based tasks. And Amazon Bedrock agents, they're focused on accessing data within Amazon's cloud platform. So these are tools for boosting productivity, right? But in different ways. What kinds of web tasks can Nova Act handle? And how do these Bedrock agents make accessing data easier?
Think of Nova Act as your personal web assistant, filling out forms, grabbing data from websites, even navigating those complicated multi-step processes across different websites. It takes care of the repetitive stuff. And Bedrock agents, they're for developers. They make it much easier to connect those powerful LLMs to various data sources, so the AI can access and process that information without a lot of manual work. It streamlines the whole process.
There's also this talk about AI software engineering agents. People are excited about the potential, but also acknowledging some potential downsides.
Yeah.
So what are the ways these agents could help with software development? And what are the concerns?
They could be game changers. Imagine AI helping you write code, generating code snippets, finding bugs, even refactoring existing code and automating tests. It could speed up development so much. But there are risks. What if the AI-generated code is messy, inefficient? What if developers become too reliant on AI and their own coding skills suffer? And how do we make sure that AI-generated software is secure, reliable? We still need human oversight, human expertise.
Makes sense. And we can't forget about those agentic ARG systems. combining the autonomy of AI agents with the knowledge retrieval power of RAG. And they can handle multiple types of data, too. It feels like the next step in creating AI that's truly smart and versatile. What kind of real-world problems could agentic RAG be really good at solving?
They're perfect for anything that involves a lot of information. And different types of information. Think of a research assistant that can go through scientific papers, analyze images and diagrams, understand recorded lectures, and then write up a report summarizing everything. Or a customer support agent that can understand your question, even if you send a picture along with it, look up product info and troubleshooting guides, and then walk you through the solution, all on its own. That's the power of agentic RAG.
But there's a new challenge popping up. AI crawlers. They're scraping content from websites without permission. It's becoming a real headache for website owners and people who create content. Why is this happening, and what are the concerns?
It's all about training data. Companies are using these AI crawlers to collect massive amounts of data from the internet to train their AI models. But the problem is they're often doing it without asking. Website owners, content creators, they've put a lot of work into their content. It's valuable. And now it's being used without their consent, without compensation. It can slow down their websites, cost them money. And if their unique content is suddenly available everywhere for free, that hurts their business.
So what can they do about it? The article mentions 3 main methods. Using JavaScript to block crawlers that don't run JavaScript, setting up AI traps, like those Nepenthes labyrinths, to waste the crawler's time, and then rate limiting and advanced filtering, maybe even geo-blocking. It sounds like a constant battle. What's working best?
It depends on the crawler, how sophisticated it is. JavaScript can block simple ones, but the smarter ones can get around that. AI traps can be effective, but you have to be careful not to block legitimate traffic, too. Rate limiting and filtering give you more control, but you have to constantly update them as the crawlers adapt. It's a cat and mouse game, really. There's no one perfect solution. You usually need a combination of techniques to stay ahead.
Okay, last but not least, let's talk about AI in different industries. In healthcare, we're seeing real progress, real-world use cases. And there's this company, Medtronic. They're planning to use Methinks AI to help with stroke treatment. That sounds like a really impactful application. Potentially life-saving.
AI in healthcare has so much potential. Medtronic using AI for stroke treatment, that's a perfect example. Strokes are time-sensitive. The faster you diagnose and treat, the better the outcome for the patient. AI can help speed up that process, and the fact that this is happening at scale, not just in a few places, shows that AI is gaining trust in the medical world.
In finance, Visa is going all in on AI. They're using it to fight fraud and create what they're calling a more intelligent future of commerce. AI is also changing how assets and wealth are managed. And even big banks like OCBC are becoming AI pioneers, especially with generative AI. It seems like finance is really embracing AI. What are some of the key applications?
Finance is a perfect fit for AI. They have tons of data, complex processes. For fraud prevention, AI can analyze transactions in real time, spot suspicious activity way better than humans. In asset management, AI can personalize investment advice, automate trading strategies, and assess risk more accurately. And for things like customer service, generative AI can make those interactions more efficient, more personalized. AI can really transform finance, make things more efficient, more secure, create new opportunities.
It's not just finance, right? Marketing is being reshaped by AI, too. How brands connect with their audiences, it's all changing. And even in areas you wouldn't expect, like infrastructure, AI, and drones are being used for inspections. It seems like AI is going to touch every industry in some way.
It's true. From highly targeted marketing campaigns to automating those dangerous infrastructure inspections, AI is proving its worth everywhere. It can analyze data, automate tasks, give us insights. There's no industry that won't benefit in some way.
Even governments are getting in on the action.
Yeah.
There's talk of using AI to bring together all those different cybersecurity tools they use. Could save a lot of money and make their defenses stronger.
Yeah, governments often have so many different cybersecurity systems. It's a mess. AI could help integrate all that, give them a clearer picture of the threats, automate responses to common attacks, make their cybersecurity posture much stronger, and potentially save money in the process.
Okay, let's talk about the tools and platforms that are making all this possible. We're seeing these new memory layers specifically for AI. Companies like Memo are leading the way. And observability for those LLM-based systems, that's becoming crucial. Honeycomb's CEO was talking about that at KubeCon EU. And we have new frameworks chopping up all the time. AG2, Crew AI, they're making it easier to build those multi-agent systems. Plus, all those tools for LLM routing and post-training optimization, it's a lot to keep track of.
It's a sign of a healthy ecosystem, those memory layers. They address a real limitation of LLMs. They allow AI applications to remember information over longer periods. Observability tools, they give developers insights into how these complex AI systems are actually working so they can debug, optimize. And those frameworks like AG2, Crew AI, they're making it easier for more people to build sophisticated AI. It's all about lowering the barrier to entry.
And we can't forget about education. People are realizing how important AI literacy is. Even OpenAI is offering a free learning platform now. It's not just for tech specialists anymore. Understanding AI is becoming a basic skill for everyone.
Absolutely. AI is becoming part of our daily lives, our workplaces. Everyone needs a basic understanding of how it works, what it can do, what its limitations are. It's essential for making informed decisions, for participating in the future economy.
So, wrapping up this deep dive into the world of AI, a few key themes stand out. The pace of innovation is incredible. We're seeing new AI models, new applications all the time. Investment is still strong, even with a little market adjustment. Software development is changing fundamentally, moving towards those more autonomous AI agents. And there's this growing emphasis on making sure AI is safe, ethical. The creative industries are being disrupted, but there are also amazing new possibilities. The technology behind AI is evolving rapidly, becoming more efficient. AI agents are becoming real problem solvers. And we're all starting to realize how important AI literacy is.
It's a really exciting time for AI, a time of huge change and opportunity. And all these developments, they're connected. They're shaping the future of AI and its impact on society.
That brings us to a final thought for you. Given everything we've talked about today, how do you think AI will change things in the next few years? What unexpected societal or economic shifts might we see? It's something to think about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of AI.